morning. We set off from Raymond and Maria's house in Switzerland, and now we're going down towards the Alsace area of France. We're going to spend a night in the area, but we're also going to see the only concentration camp was set up in the Second World War. That was in France, in the Vichy area. So come along and have a look at what that's all about. We've just arrived at the Natzweiler Struthof concentration camp in the Alsace area of France. It was the only concentration camp that was set up in France, actually, and it mainly held SOE prisoners, which is Special Operations Executive from Britain, and resistance fighters. And the idea of this place was to basically bring them here without anybody knowing, and then exterminate them. And the reason that is because they didn't want to become martyrs. So if somebody said, well, where are they? They don't know where they are. If they knew that they were dead, then they'd become martyrs to the cause. So this campsite was basically set up for that. Anyway, let's have a look round. If you've ever watched that series called Secret Agent Selection on either Channel 4 or Channel 5 in the UK, then this place is mentioned in the last episode where they brought some of the SOE people here to just basically get rid of them. The operation, I think, was called, they called it Night and Fog. In other words, they brought them in here at night, and then during the period of time they were here, basically got rid of, and they disappeared as though they were in fog.
Natzweiler Struthof was a German-run concentration camp located in the mountains close to the village of Natzweiler in Alsace, France. Natzweiler Struthof was the only concentration camp established by the Nazis on French territory, though there were French-run temporary camps such as the ones at Drancy between 1941 and 1944. Between 1941 and 1944, the Alsace region was administered by Germany as an integral part of the German Reich. The camp operated from the 21st of May 1941 and then was evacuated early September 1944. Only a small staff of Nazi SS personnel remained until the camp was liberated by the French First Army under the command of the US 6th Army on the 23rd of November 1944. Approximately 52,000 prisoners were established to be held there during its time of operation. The prisoners were mainly from the resistance movements in German-occupied territories. It was also a labour camp, a transit camp, and as the war went on, a place of execution. There was an estimated 22,000 deaths at the camp, including its network of sub-camps. Many prisoners were moved to other camps, in particular in 1944, when the remaining prisoners were death-marched to Dachau as the Allied armies neared. 4 female British SOE agents were executed here on the 6th of July 1944. Diana Rowden, Vera Lee, André Borel and Sonia Olansky, executed under the supervision of Dr. Plaza and Dr. Rode, under the capital punishment called Nacht und Leben, Night and Fog. This was a directive issued by Adolf Hitler on the 7th of December 1941, targeting political activists and resistance helpers in World War II. The camp today is preserved as a museum in memory of those held or killed here. The European Centre of Deported Resistance Members is also located at this museum. The monument of the departed stands on this site. The present museum restored in 1980 after damage by neo-Nazis in 1976.
Talking to a young lad who is a guide here. We were just sat down looking on this building. He came across saying, would you like to look at the area where the deportees, detainees have a wash? And I said, yeah, we took them in. So we took us in, he opened the doors. You can see where these sort of take the clothes off, hang them up, get them de-laced. And then what they do then is they move into another room where there's showers above, and they actually are showers. and the guy said it was warm water as well. He says, but if you look at next door where you saw the big tank, which is the hot water tank, but what was fueling that was a crematorium, which they wouldn't have seen, which is right next door to it, and they were putting bodies in, and that's what putting bodies in, burning them and warming the water up so the detainees could have a shower. They wouldn't know that though. I always said, I'm going to repeat it again, there's no point looking at these monuments when you're on a motorbike, because it's just too hot, too stuffy. You've got to lock all your stuff up on your bike to try and walk somewhere. So I ain't doing this again. Too warm.